We are addressing the issue of bracket creep with our changes.
Bracket creep is just this silent, grabber of every dollar that you're earning.
We can still return bracket creep.
Tax increase that no one voted for is bracket creep.
No, it's not a scary dude leering at you from a dark room. But I'm a creep. We're talking about a different kind of creep. The kind Labor says the modified Stage 3 tax cuts will help stop.
We are returning bracket creep where we can do the most good, which is Middle Australia.
There are 5 tax brackets in Australia. As your salary goes up, so does the amount you get taxed. Right now, the first $18,000 you earn is tax-free. Then for every dollar you earn between $18,000 and $45,000, you pay 19 cents. The next bracket then kicks in with a higher rate up to $120,000. Another bracket, a higher rate. This currently caps out at $180,000, and for every dollar you earn above that, you pay 45 cents. Over time, wages go up. Earning $100K now is not the same as earning it 20 years ago. Bracket creep happens because tax brackets don't move up accordingly, so you end up in a higher tax bracket without actually being any wealthier.
An example is for someone who's on $45,000 a year, if they got a 4% pay rise last year, that would push them up into the next tax bracket. And so on that pay rise, the government would take back over $300 in what we call bracket creep. So even though you're getting a pay rise, the government's pinching a little bit of that to go into its tax coffers.
This becomes a real problem when inflation is high and the cost of everything is rising. If it's rising more than your wage, you can find yourself paying more tax, even though you can buy less with what you're earning. In Australia, tax brackets aren't indexed to inflation, unlike in countries like Germany, France, Norway and Turkey. Over here, the top income tax threshold of $180,000 hasn't risen since it was introduced in 2008. Had it been indexed to inflation, it would currently sit at more than $250,000.
We'd like to see tax brackets indexed so that we get rid of this effective bracket creep. If somebody gets their pay rise to keep pace with inflation so that their standard of living doesn't go backwards, we don't want to see that pay rise taken away by the tax office.
The reality is we aren't talking about fat cats with their $50,000 a year pay rises. We're talking about those 3% year-on-year pay rises that help workers keep up with the cost of living.
We don't mind if people who earn a lot more money pay more tax. That's kind of how it should be. But this is sort of taking tax money away from people by stealth.
The original Stage 3 tax cut plan was designed to abolish one of the middle brackets and raise when the top bracket kicks in. The Albanese government says these changes will leave Middle Australia better off, but the opposition claims rejigging the plan will lead to Middle Australia losing out in the long run.
Over the course of the next 10 years, the government will actually increase their tax take by $28 billion. As you work your way up through the income levels, you are paying more and more because of bracket creep.
While experts say this is a missed opportunity for bigger tax reform and that some pollies are sneaky fans of the creep after all.
The good thing if you're a politician about bracket creep is each year we're talking maybe a couple of $100. It matters, but people notice it less. And of course that gives them more money to spend. But they haven't asked the electorate if it's okay for them to spend that money.
Right, now I don't know a lot about tax, but I feel like this is...
Well, he just explained it to you.
Yeah. The problem is when Waleed speaks, I generally just stop, But why isn't our tax brackets pegged to inflation?
I don't know. I think it's a really good question, Sam.
Thank you,
It's a
Waleed.
cracking... It's a fantastic question.
Thank you.
It might be the best question I've ever received. Well done, mate.
Okay, yeah, I've got some more.
You listen to 3D, Waleed, not 2D.
No, I think it's a really... So there's the cynical answer is governments don't want to do that because they like bracket creep.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to announce anything. You're not getting taxed more or anything like that, but they just get more money as inflation.
Yeah.
So it goes into the overall tax bill.
Yeah, and so it's better for the budget and whatever. So sometimes you can shrink like the deficit just by doing nothing and letting bracket creep sort it out. And so that's the cynical answer. I can't think of a good reason why you wouldn't do it as a matter of policy. In fact, far smarter people than me have said that to us today. They've said there isn't a good economic reason that you wouldn't do it. Other countries are doing it.
Yeah.
Imagine though, like if a government came out and said we're just going to index, would they not get enough political love for that.
I think it'd be quite popular.
Do you think it would be? Or would
I
we
think
like
you'd have
the
to
idea of a
explain it.
big
You also
tax
don't
cut? at some point?
understand though. They'd have to explain it though, really, really simply.
Index isn't a cool term. You need like cost of lives or something.
Yeah,
Cost of lives or
Yeah,
And we could play in that package, but then Sam wouldn't be listening anyway. Still